Welcome to the video lecture for Chapter 14 that focuses on communicating with external publics. For the last video lecture, we looked at internal publics, so for this chapter, we'll change things up and focus more on external audiences that can typically, within sporting organizations, include customers, members, donors, sponsors, and even political organizations. Today, we'll focus mostly on customer relationships, that also focus on not only customers but members and sponsors as well. And then we'll look at customer satisfaction and ways that we can help ensure that, and finalize by looking at customer loyalty. Let's go ahead and get started. Within public relations research, historically critics have largely overlooked the role of the customer within literature. This has typically been found more within marketing research, but our textbook is going to take us a little bit more into understanding customers from a sports perspective. And the chapter begins by looking at three main categories: customer relationship management, membership relationship management, and sponsor relationship management. Let's go ahead and look at each of these in a little bit more detail. The first item the chapter discusses is customer relationship management, otherwise referred to as CRM. And this is defined as the effort to understand and influence customer behavior in order to improve customer acquisition, retention, loyalty, and profitability. Customer relationship management typically includes 5 items or processes. And this includes finding customers, getting to know them, communicating with them, making sure that they are happy or ensuring their satisfaction, and ultimately retaining them. The use of databases is currently used as a major way that helps to take the information from consumers and helps to understand them better. We're a little bit past the days of sporting organizations that simply collect demographic information. And now we have ways of finding much more information out about who are using our products or going to games. If you have a membership to a local gym, computerized exercise equipment logs can identify the type of activity that you're doing and as well as the frequency of use. Membership cards and access cards can be scanned to record the times and days that people are using facilities. Some organizations use loyalty cards to track consumption behavior, and even professional teams use cards that can monitor the behavior of fans as they purchase things like tickets, concessions, and merchandise. Retailers also use loyalty cards that are used to track consumption patterns of their customers. All of this information can be used to put together a data bank, and that data bank can be used for a variety of marketing and PR purposes. But I like that the chapter also gives a specific warning that if you spend the time and the money to collect this data, you should have a plan for how it will be used. Otherwise, if it sits for a while and you don't have a plan, it might be wasted money, but if you at some point decide you want to do something with it, the information could already be out of date. So you want to make sure that you collect the information appropriately with a specific plan for how you're going to use it to enhance relationships. Second major item besides customer relationship management is member relationship management, and this is known as MRM. This describes efforts made to increase member satisfaction and loyalty. And this is very important, particularly within marketing, because there's been research that shows that it's much more expensive to get new members than it is to retain them. It's much cheaper and inexpensive to maintain your membership. And the cost of acquiring a new member is 5 times the cost of retaining a member. And so one of the easiest ways to make sure that you keep your members and make sure that they're happy is that you continually ask for feedback. And so this becomes more of the monitoring of members who have already signed up to use a gym or some type of a service. And you want to ensure that they're happy because ultimately that leads to a very cost-effective way to maintain profit and less money has to go into acquiring new members. The third item are sponsor relationship management. And this comes down to how well are sponsor needs and expectations being met. Sponsors are understood as associations or organizations that provide financial support and or goods and services. They have a lot of similar characteristics as customer relationships. So you want to find sponsors, get to know them, communicate with them, ensure that they're satisfied, and try to retain them. And this is particularly important due to the financial aspects of sponsors. As I was again reading through this chapter, it made me think of when I was an intern for the Los Angeles Galaxy, and I worked largely within sponsorships. And at the time, the LA Galaxy's major sponsor was Budweiser. And so I helped some of the other people in the front office make sure that we maintained the relationship with Budweiser because of the financial commitment that they showed our organization. We wanted to make sure that they were happy. And so one of the things that we would do is we would set up signings of balls and jerseys and have the players come in, and then we would collect all of those items and ship it off to Budweiser as a way to make sure that they were satisfied and that we showed how thankful we were of their sponsorship relationship. The last two items we're going to discuss in this video lecture include customer satisfaction and customer loyalty. Customer satisfaction in the textbook is offered through a very nice acronym, VISPAC. This stands for 6 opportunities for surpassing customer expectations and thereby building relationships. And customer satisfaction through this model is based on value, information, speed, personality, add-ons, and convenience. Let's go through each one. In order to make sure your customers are satisfied, you want to focus on value. So you want to make sure that the product that you offer is of high quality, and you even provide some type of service if it is needed. The second one is information. This is where your organization wants to make sure it sends out emails, has proper signage, or even follow-up phone calls to make sure that information is getting out accurately and consistently to your customers. The third item is speed. This can be considered in terms of speed of service, delivery, or even response to complaints. The fourth item is personality, and this is what impression a company wants to have. So your personality as a company might be courtesy or consideration of customers. And that could be a way to make an impression on the customers who spend their money on your service or your shoe or your organization. Another item are add-ons. These are things that can enhance the customer satisfaction. And so if I was playing tennis and I wanted to buy a new tennis racket, an add-on that a sports equipment manufacturer could provide is maybe a free case with this new tennis racket. And that would have some perceived value to me as a customer. And ideally, that would make me feel better about my purchase because I got something extra that I wasn't expecting. And then the last one is convenience. This is also known as immediacy. So how can you make things convenient for your customers? If you have a gym and you provide trainers, you could also have trainers do house calls and go to people's homes because that might be more convenient for them. Overall, within customer satisfaction, some of these things relate more to public relations and sport PR, and some rely a little bit less. So if we had to look at them, mostly within sport PR, information and personality are the two most directly related to sport PR. So everything can be great within a sporting organization when your customers are satisfied. But it's important to note that satisfaction does not necessarily lead to loyalty. And you can think about this within your daily life. If you've ever visited or frequented businesses and you had a good experience, but you never went back, there are several different reasons for why that might have happened. And this slide gives us some of those reasons. The first option is monopoly. And so there might not be any other options. So people might still come and use your gym, but it might be the only gym that's in town. So it doesn't necessarily mean that they're satisfied. They are only loyal because it's the only option for them. And that's not really a good place to be in. You want to make sure that you provide your customers a good experience, even if there are 5 other gyms in the area. You want to make sure that they still would want to come to yours. Another item is convenience loyalty. So sometimes switching is too inconvenient. So people continue to use your gym if it's too hard to get out of the membership or there's some type of a fee. So convenience loyalty can be a way that demonstrates loyalty, but it's not very positive. It's only because leaving is too hard. Another item is incentives loyalty. These are rewards that accompany continued involvement. So loyalty cards. So if you continue to buy a product, if you continue to spend money at a sports store, then you get some type of an incentive, a coupon, some type of percentage off of a future purchase. This is oftentimes seen through loyalty cards. And so that can enhance relationships where people come back because they are looking for some type of an incentive. Another one is habitual loyalty. And this is when people continue to use your service or your product because the routine is comfortable. They have always gone to this gym. They know how it works. They don't have to think the equipment through it all. Habitual loyalty. And then the last one, which is the best way, is committed loyalty. This is understood as that the best product or service is going to earn the most devoted consumers. Consumers like to believe that they're buying the best product or the best service. And so this is when we see people who have committed loyalty. They have other options. They can easily switch to different things, but they believe that it's the best product or the best service. And so they are committed in a very typically positive way. Thank you for listening to the video lecture for Chapter 14, Communicating with External Publics. Within Sport PR, these external publics typically look like customers, members, sponsors, and sometimes even donors and political organizations. Today we spent time going over customer relations, specifically customer relationship management, member relationship management, and sponsor relationship management. And then we also spent some time talking about customer satisfaction and customer loyalty. Thanks for listening.